connect people together and to share the knowledge of these amazing people, but also create an opportunity for you to better deliver your information, your philosophies, your ideas, and your strengths to your customers. So there's two different levels that we're going to talk about in this conversation. And I do encourage anyone to put in questions in chats, and we'll make sure that we get those answered. I'll probably present for somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes, and then we can open it up for questions and get those answered, because I expect that there will be some questions. So there's two sides to this equation. First of all, we have two different links. One that's a link that is creating an opportunity for you to join the application as a consumer, or submit a bio and some information to create a profile for you. I will put this up in the chat as well, but this will be information that will be valuable to either the person who wants to try it out or the person who wants to come in as one of the professionals in our network that we're creating. So in the application itself, to give you a little bit first on the provider side and the technology side. First of all, it's a HIPAA compliant platform. It has a tremendous amount of education in the platform. It's also 100% white labeled. So you don't see the name More Active or Decent Med anywhere in the application unless you're in that particular grouping. But it's all powered by Decent Med and the professionals that are inside of this organization. So the look and the design and the feel and whatever your message is that you want to present to your individuals is completely unique to you. You can still be part of the Decent Med network, but have your own branding. And just to show you a couple more options to that, this is the NFL alumni, which is the retired NFL players, and they use the theme of the locker room. And so you can have any kind of a background image, colors, any kind of information that you want. And then these slider pages that we call them on the left-hand side are designed to promote what your services that you provide to your customers. And we have anything that touches wellness can be part of our site. Mental wellness, weight loss, chronic disease management, performance, as you can imagine with the NFL group, a lot of them are interested in staying active and staying in performance. Here's another example of Deep Need Massage, which obviously is a single massage therapist that has built out this site and does her scheduling and all of her information, and also delivers the rest of the components to wellness. Massage is one piece of wellness, but there are many other things that she doesn't have the expertise on, like nutrition, like workout programs, and those can be delivered by her with her brand that support all of her customers and making sure that they're living their best life. Another example, Fit Living Academy. Again, different imagery, different group, different colors, different background. So we want you to be unique. We want you to have your own personality come through in the website and be able to be part of a group. The other thing that I would mention, and I'll address this later, is you can be part of more than one community. So what we find is that certain professionals like to work with other professionals. And so you can invite a different professional into your community if you don't have that expertise. So you might have a chiropractor that you like to work with, or a nutritionist that you like to work with. You can invite them to have their profile on your application as well, and then deliver their information to your clients, because your clients potentially will need their expertise. But you're then referring them right out to somebody that you trust and that you want to work with on a regular basis. And again, another one, this is Max Biohacks, that does a lot of assessment, and we'll get into DNA assessments and blood work assessments, and all of those are all part of the platform as well. Some of our customers like to be just simple. They just like to have a login page where they have a members section on their website that links to their login page, and that can look any way that you want to make it look as well. Those images could continue into your internal environment, but they can also keep it simple. And again, it's completely up to you. So going back to the technology side of it, so it's a multi-tenant environment. You can have a top level community and as many child communities under that that you want. What I mean by that is that you could have a physical location of corporate office, and you could have 4 or 5 or 17 locations, physical locations underneath you. And all of the people that belong to those locations have expertise of one kind or another in those different locations. And even the content that you put into them, each of those locations can be uniquely different. They can also be completely different branded. So you can create a network, as well as you can create your own individual file, and you can invite experts from other groups as well. So then when you get to this page here, which is the main page of signing up, and again, I'll get you guys the, let me go ahead and put those in chat while I'm thinking about that. So you can sign up on either one of these or both. So if you wanted to test it out as a consumer, you're more than welcome to do that. We know we have a great product. We have utilizing this in many different professional organizations, from corporate wellness to health clubs to weight loss clinics to massage therapists to chiropractors. All of those are available opportunities. Again, really anything that touches wellness makes sense to be on the platform.
Yeah, Don, just a quick question for you.
Yeah.
So with the summit being available in the content library,
right,
I think that's something that a lot of our providers are going to want to see, because I think a lot of our providers are going to they're going to want the recording, right? So can you show how someone can add to the content library, what our content library is, and if they're, let's say the content library is already in there, how someone can pull from it?
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to log into the application. So right now we talked about basically the entry screens and what you would be presenting to your customers. In that first screen that we were just on, you can create an account by putting in your email and password and first name, last name, and etc. And that'll then create an account for you. Once you have the account created, then you have the ability to log into the system. If you have management permissions, you log into the management section first. And we have a very granular management system also as far as the permission structure. So you can give a nutritionist access to the nutrition piece. You can give somebody who's your front desk greeter permission to a limited part of the information. And so we control all of that. But answering Sam's question, when you come in here, you can also go to what we call the member view. Member view has the ability to establish what zip code or what time zone that you live in. So if you are working with people across the country, that is all categorized, and everything will show up in the appropriate times in the calendars. More specifically, to answer Sam's question, is we have a tremendous library of information. We have a lot of different providers that are putting information into the application, and as those come in, as a provider or as a community, you can decide to share some or all of your information to the DecentMed community. Obviously, we hope that there's going to be a lot of people that are sharing, because that just makes the database and the whole library available for other people to be able to access, much more rich. So underneath the resources, first of all, before I get to that, I want to also make a very important part of our application is when a client logs in, and we do have a desktop version and an app version. So everything that you see on the desktop version also has an app version of that. But everything that happens when a person logs in is going to be 100% unique to that person. So we learn through machine learning, through artificial intelligence, and through what person selects as their interests or their challenges of what information is going to be delivered to that individual person. So inside of that, as they pick areas that they're interested in, or workout programs or nutrition programs, the information then becomes customized, in this case, to Jacob Smithson. So under resources for Jacob Smithson, there's articles and videos, there's video lessons, and video lessons would be typically a doctor talking about a specific area that they wanted to emphasize and how people could deal with different issues that they might run into. And those are typically videos, and they're typically more than one video put into what we call a video lesson. And those video lessons can then be put into what we call action plans, which we'll get into later. But when I open up any of these videos or these resources for the video lessons, there's typically a doctor that is talking about a subject, in this particular case, life transformation. This happens to be a 12-week program. And so people who join this program go through one lesson at a time, which you can see in the left-hand column. And if you've completed a lesson, it gets checked off. You can, as a clinician, decide that you want people to see them one lesson at a time and they have to follow a specific sequence. You can have support collateral material as PDF files that might go with the lessons. And those are very, very nicely put in here where people can go through and learn about any topic, whether it's managing type 2 diabetes or chronic disease of another kind or depression or whatever it might be. We can have all of those happen uniquely for this person that's logging into this account. An additional area of that is the articles. So we have thousands of articles available inside of the system. So these are articles that are coming into this client, 6 of them that they have not read yet. If you go to the My Articles piece, there's a lot more articles that this person is coming in based on the topics that they have selected and interested in this case, meditation and cardio exercise and eating issues. And then you can see at the very bottom of this page, these are completed articles that they have already completed. We also have the ability to put in a quiz at the bottom of all of these video lessons, action plans, or articles, so that we know that somebody understands the content. So if you're working with a client or patient, you want to know that they watched the video on understanding diabetes instead of clicked video play and went and fed their dog. So it does give you the opportunity to follow up with them and to make sure that they're following a plan that you have in place for them. The other thing that we help with the video, with this library is, let's just, as an example, somebody goes into the doctor's office and they find out that they're a type 2 diabetic for the very first time. First of all, they're in shock. They didn't understand how that happened. And now they're wondering, what's wrong with myself? What's going on in my body? Well, in those video lessons and action plans, you can actually give them pieces of information that they need to know to manage diabetes. A typical clinician typically has between 7 and 13 minutes to work with a client. And if you're fortunate enough to have one that spends more time with you, congratulations, you found a good one. But they have a limited amount of time. And there's no way that that clinician can tell you everything you need to know about managing type 2 diabetes inside of that first visit. But through these video lessons, they can teach you information that you might learn one article on day 1, another article on day 7, another article on day 52, along with video lessons interspersed in between those. And so there's a lot of content that we put into the application to make sure that people understand everything that they're going to be dealing with whatever their issue is. And it could be a goal issue like losing weight, or it could be, I want to be a better soccer player. All of those things can be addressed inside of the application. And again, very unique to the one individual that's logging in. So going back to the today's page, which is the page that everybody logs into as a consumer, all the information that's coming in here is going to be coming in unique to the individual user. We do track with a lot of different wearable devices. this is all my information, so I'm not violating HIPAA on anything that I'm showing you, because I'm welcome to show this information to everyone on this call. But we track with Garmin, Fitbit, Apple Watch. We also have a product called Withings that's fully integrated into our application that has a blood pressure cuff and a weight scale. And the weight scale measures lean muscle mass, hydration levels, weight, of course, and a number of different things. And all those measurements come into this individual's file, but also available where they can manage their own information. And if I'm a clinician, and we'll get into this a lot more extensively a little bit later on in this meeting, we have a very extensive client management tool. In the client management tool, we have a fully HIPAA compliant telehealth where you can invite people into a telehealth call on their phone or on their desktop computer and manage everything from remote patient monitoring to chronic care management. Can all be done in that client management section, which we'll get into in a little bit more later. So the premise behind this is if somebody has a challenge of any kind or a goal, it's never easy in the world of wellness, because there's many different facets that go into achieving that goal or managing that chronic disease. And we're trying to simplify that message down to the full reason why we have everything that's on this page is completely unique to this single individual person. So on this page, once they've selected their interest or their challenges, we start delivering information to them unique to them. Our clinicians can have information very much spelled out with what they're trying to promote to their clients as well, so that the information that's going directly to their clients can be very much pushed to them by the clinician that they're working with. So inside of here, in order to simplify that, one, it is unique information just to this person. If there's an article that this person isn't going to help them and has no benefit to them, why would we send it to them? And why would we clutter their page with that information? However, if they have information that we want, we're simplifying that the only thing the client needs to concentrate on, and there's a tremendous amount of extra and more information in the application that they can go when they have some time to go explore articles, etc. But the only thing they need to do is what's in their today's activities. Inside of today's activities, the clinicians build out the plans that we call action plans. And the action plans are based on what you're trying to accomplish. And it's going to give you things to do each day. So you log in on a daily basis, and from that, it's going to have an opportunity for you to do journaling. So I can say I'm feeling happy today, and it takes me to then where I can write notes on why I'm happy today. And you said the last presenter was talking about it's a beautiful day outside. I've actually tormented my kids with opening up the blinds in the morning and telling them that exact statement. They know that I'm always trying to be optimistic and trying to have the best of the day I can. But in here, your client can type out what their mood is and why. They can say that they didn't have great sleep last night, but their energy level is good and their stress level is very good. They don't have any stress today, and their soreness level, because they just started a new workout program, is pretty bad. And so they can write all that information that the clinician can then see without needing to call the client to find out about that information. And then all that information gets tracked in the day that they put that in. And obviously this is a demo account, so I have not kept up with this specific account, but it is giving the opportunity for the client to be able to put in how they're feeling and how they're doing in that day. Additionally, inside of that day, you can see they have a workout. This is an upper body and lower body and a full body plan that they have. We have home workouts. We have gym workouts where you're doing exercise by exercise on equipment. We have follow along videos where you're doing rubber band exercises or boot camp style exercises. And those might be timed for 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour. All of those video types are going to be available based on what a client is trying to accomplish and what their goals are. there's a very extensive meal planning. We have 15 different meal plans, actually 16 meal plans, because we just added one yesterday, inside of the database that either a clinician can push to a client because they know, based on the visits that they've had with the client, which plan is going to be the most effective for them. Or if it's self-driven, somebody just joins your site, they haven't talked to you yet, or they're in a corporate wellness environment and they're an employee and they've never met you, they can self-administer all of this information based on what they select inside the system. And then last but not least, we offer the opportunity to put in a photo of why are you doing the work? What is making you do the work to stay or be healthy? And that could be from the doctor, that the doctor is going to say you don't get in shape or do better, or you're going to be a shorter life. It might be your grandchildren. It might be your children that you want to attend their wedding, or whatever the case might be. Whatever your inspiration is, you can put an image in there and it'll constantly remind you why you're doing the work to accomplish the goals that you're working on. I talked about that all being part of an action plan. You can see the far left column is an action plan, and this particular person is doing prediabetes and diabetes. So all of these green dashes here mean that they've completed everything in their today's activities for those days. If I have one that's not done, I can either complete that 3 days backwards or 3 days ahead. If I want to go ahead and read some articles that are in my tomorrow, I can do that. So just as an example, I'll show you when I click on one of those incomplete days, it'll then tell me what didn't I complete. Well, I've already completed the workout, which was a follow along Stroops or rubber band exercise that was 32 minutes long, but I didn't log my meals. So in here, I can log my meals. And then once I log my meals for that day, and then refresh that page, you'll see the 3 red dashes there. Well, then after I come back to it next time, or if I refresh my page and go back to another page, you can see that now turned to a green dash, representing that I've completed all of the work that I needed to do in that day. There's also notes that can be put into this consumer on a daily basis. As an example, we know when somebody just starts a brand new workout program and they haven't done any working out or resistance training, they're going to probably be sore on the second or third day that they have completed their workout. So we can talk about delayed onset muscle soreness, and that's normal. And it does go away after a few days and possibly a week of time. And for them to keep working and keep training to the best that they can, and the pain and that they're feeling will go away. So on this today's page, that gives you a little bit of an overview of what's available. We do have the ability to create a news. So if you have a community of weight loss or a community of any other type of issue, you can put in, like this case as an example, they're going to do a Thursday evening, healthy cooking with black bean salad and spoonful. So all of those things can be put in by the clinician. They can have somebody, either themselves or another expert, run those meetings. It just creates community. And community is important, and your brand is important. And all of this keeps your brand in front of your clients, because every time they're logging into either the app or the desktop version, they're logging into your brand. And so obviously another very important part of this is keeping your brand in front of your customers. And I'm going to quickly show you how the app works so that you can see that it's bringing in all of the data from the desktop, or the app is all going to be matched around that particular customer. So these are various customers that we work with currently that have submitted an app in both the iOS, which is Apple, and Android, which is Google, into their stores. And if you log into any of these, it of course keeps that same branding that you have. And you do have the ability as a clinician to create an app in the App Store, delivering all of your information to your client base. And that comes in, of course, with the branding that you want. So if I go into Complete Fitness, you can see that it'll be a complete difference in brand. and the colors and everything else will come in by the customer. If I go into any of these, I'm logged in as the same Jacob Smithson, as you can see by the image that I wish it was me, because then I would have hair again. But you can see in here where I can go into the nutrition and it'll show me how many meals that I have logged. I didn't log any today. What I did just a minute ago was 2 days ago. If you recall, it was not the current day. But it'll give me a full recipe of what I'm going to be consuming for breakfast. I have the ability then to see the nutritional analysis of that breakfast. We color code these, and the reason I put this one in here is green means that it matches exactly to your carb, protein, fats, and calories that you should be consuming to reach your goals with the least amount of effort. Red means that it's further outside of the range. It doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't eat it and you're going to die if you eat something that has a red dot in it. It just means it's not going to get you to your goal as fast and efficient as you want to. We have almost 5,000 meals in our database with all the nutrient values connected to the USDA nutrient database of every one of those meals that you can see. We have the ability to go into any of these meals and look at the overview and see what saucepan to cook it in, what temperature to set the oven, what ingredients you need to buy at the grocery store. And of course, it does create grocery list based on how many days you want to shop for and gives you all of that information. But if I log my breakfast, it'll then allow me to log that meal. It'll then show me that I've eaten 526 calories out of my 2,052 for the day. And as I continue to go through the day, that's as easy it is for me to log my next meal. So I can simply go into the bottom part of this, log my lunch, and then that information and all that nutritional data will go into my population, into my platform, and collect all of that data for me and my clinician to be able to watch and manage that as we're going along. So back to the today's page. This is where everybody logs in, as I mentioned. This top level navigation is all available for your clients to explore. It's not something they have to do. It's something that they will probably enjoy doing because they're going to get a lot more information about managing or finishing out in their goal. I've mentioned action plans a couple of times. So we have action plans. Well, this individual is in here for diabetes and hypertension. And you'll see that when we go back into the client manager. And so those are coming up at the top automatically based on their issues that they're dealing with. Other action plans that you can add in are sports performance, longevity, lupus, osteoporosis. You can have weight loss. You can have all different types of action plans. You determine as a community which of those action plans you want to make available to your customers. If you don't like our hypertension, you can hide it. We just give you a tremendous amount of initial information that you can utilize the application from day one and be able to become a profit center literally immediately. We do have a wholesale model. So there's a low price that we charge to our experts, and then our experts will almost always mark that up some level. So it becomes a profit center for them because they're going to be spending the time putting their content and their information into the platform, which makes it more valuable to the client. And so it is a profit center opportunity, as well as the ability to make it your philosophy and your information that you want to your customers. And of course, the branding. Then on the today's menus, I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to finish out the goals. So we have action plans that a certain person can go in and look at any of these plans, and they can read all about what they're going to get in it by clicking learn more. And then if they decide to join them, they can join it. This plan, as an example, is 90 days. This one is 30 days. This one's 75 days. You can have a single day plan that if you just want to teach somebody a specific lesson and you want it to be in one day, you can do that. So all of those are built by the clinicians. You can use other clinicians' information that is available to you, which is why we're creating this network to make it more well-rounded, that it handles any type of issue that someone might be managing. And then below that, we have a product that we call Body Vision. And Body Vision allows the consumer, and again, this is private, no one else sees their information, so they don't have to be embarrassed about where they might be, but they put in their height, their weight, their chest, hip, and waist measurement, and it'll create a model of where they are right now. And of course, they can put in their skin color and their body shape and all the things that will help them create an avatar that matches what they look like currently looking into the mirror. And then it'll develop out a 4-phase application to how they can accomplish whatever goal they put into the application. So this person's starting out at 31% body fat, and they would ideally like to get to 12% body fat. Our system will tell them that they can do that by October 7th of 2027, if they're doing the current plan. Every Sunday evening at midnight, in our system, it runs what's called a cron job. And that cron job analyzes how they're doing on their diet and what their activity level is. So those dates of when they can accomplish that goal can shrink, or they can go out further if they're not getting the work done. And so they can constantly see where they're at and how they're doing. And of course, they can update their status. And if they update their status and it surpasses what's in phase 1, their current model will move over with all the new measurements and the body shape. And then they'll be on phase 2, and then on phase 3, and then on phase 4. So that application keeps them motivated and understanding to what they need to do to accomplish their goals. And then the inspiration photo upload is there also. And so you can put any kind of an image in of your family or your spouse or whatever that inspiration might be. Onto the nutrition, we have a very extensive nutrition module that delivers everything from how to make the meal, how many calories are going to be in your specific dish. It can have any number of meals, up to 8 different meal options. 8 meals in a day. So you could have multiple snacks and multiple meals, or you can have 3, or you can set it up where you're doing it based on, waiting a certain amount of time before you eat your next meal. All of those are available in here, along with the 16 now meal plans that are available in the application. And so you can see in here, we have everything from vegan to 3 other vegetarian meal plans. We also have Mediterranean and zone and ketogenic and low carb that are common plans. And a lot of people are getting into the peptides, and specifically a lot of people into the GLP-1s and tirzepatides and things along that line to help them with weight loss. We can have high protein because one of the things that you experience in a weight loss program is the need for not losing your lean muscle mass. And again, if you don't believe in peptides as a clinician, you can hide that profile or that meal plan from ever showing to your clients. If you do want to have the ability to offer peptides, that's another option that we have connected to Compounding Pharmacy, where you can get exceptionally good pricing on the peptides and resell them to the customers as well. In the meal plan, we have everything down to, as you can see, pictures of the image. You can adjust the meal plan. You can customize the meal plan. I can open up the nutritional facts on this meal plan. And more often than not, as I showed in that other view, this one has all 4 green dots. And what that means is the calorie amount, the protein, carbs, and proteins are exactly matching the client profile on what they should be eating to reach their goal in the quickest possible way. Obviously, we also have other things like the caloric amount that this person's going to be consuming, the fat, the carbs, the proteins, the fats, the vitamin C, the calcium. All of those things are listed here. Most clients go in here 1 or 2 or 3 times and never go back, but it is nice to have, if you're a clinician, that you can talk to people why they're eating this way and what they should be looking for, what they should look for on labels. All of those things are part of them understanding their goals and what they're trying to accomplish. And then customizing a meal. That dinner doesn't sound good to me, or my chicken or my fish or whatever spoiled in the refrigerator. All of those factors come into play. So somebody can come in here and they can search for a different dinner. And so if I'm coming in here and I want to find a different dinner, there's 114 pages of 25 meals per page. And you can see here that we start out with all of these green dot meals that are matching the carb, protein, and fats that this person should be eating. And if I go out to page 73, it's going to red dots. And if I go to 33, there's yellow dots. And so all of these can be selected based on the individual and hopefully finding one that's all in the red dot area. Then they can narrow that down to say that I'm looking to go to PF or to get chicken. Or I can simply put in that, hey, I'm craving PF Chang's, some dish that I have there. Let's see here, cuisine type, Chinese needs to be there. And so I can come in here and I can search for any of the different meal types or any of the different field things that I might be searching for, and it'll bring in all the meals. And again, here you can see the green, the yellow, and the red dots. So I'm hopefully going to be picking one of the solutions that is a green dot meal for this particular individual. Along with that, we do have the ability to select and get groceries. This is for the list for the May 26th through June 8th. So it gives you all of the different options of what you would need to have for that particular timeline, of what you would need to have available in your refrigerator or your pantry or whatever that might be. We also have the ability to view upcoming meals, because when you're going to be shopping for your groceries, obviously you might come in here and say, well, this is what my site is recommending, but I don't think I like this idea for the turkey lettuce wraps on that particular day. You can click on that. It brings you to that day of 6/8. And now I can go in and I can change out my lettuce wraps for another meal by just hitting my customize and then changing that meal type out. You also can select meals as favorites. If you selected a meal as favorite, you can very easily select out a different dinner where I can go in and say, I want to put in my tofu and I want to add that meal instead. And now it'll drop that in for my dinner. Looks like it added an additional dinner here. So I clicked the wrong button there, but you can see how all of that works, bringing all that meal information. And then when I log a meal, first of all, I have to go to today's date, today's menu. If I log a meal, you can see that it very easily makes it recognizable that I've completed that meal and I have successfully logged it. If I want to unlog it, I can go back and unlog it. Maybe I changed my mind or I didn't log the right meal or whatever it might be. So I do have the capability of managing all that information. And just for time, I'm going to kind of skip through a couple of these. And again, you can ask questions about more information on here, but all of this information is available along with the workout program. Today is a rest day for me, so I can go ahead to find where my next workout is. So this one is another follow along rubber band. And these are actually encased rubber bands called Stroops, where this video is going to be 32 minutes and 27 seconds. I can play this video and listen to all the exercises. Full screen, or I can project it through television. So that's available for the individual to decide what's the best way for them to deliver that program. We do have gym workout programs, which would be exercise by exercise, and that goes all the way down to what weight I should be lifting on every exercise based on the brand of equipment that I'm lifting that on, and what my gym might have available for me to utilize. So all of that then gets picked out of the change workout. We go through PAR-Q, which is called Physical Activity Readiness Questionnaire. And once I get through that, I then determine what type of programming or exercise that I'm looking to do. Is it gaining weight? Is it losing weight? Is it performance related? Or we do have a video camera where it can actually put your phone with your camera facing you, and it'll actually walk you through an exercise program and coach you. If your legs are too close together, it'll tell you to move them to be shoulder length apart, or you're not squatting deep enough, or any of the other different things can all be done and tracked and scored so that your trainer, if they're not working out with you in that moment, can actually see how well you've done it and how many repetitions and that you completed all of your exercises. So it is a great way for physical therapists to utilize the platform, because they can do a post-surgery rehab stretching program as an example, or any other type of strengthening program that they might want to introduce. So all of that's available in the workout. Quickly, I'm going to go through challenges, but you can build challenges based on anything that's tracked inside the system. And that can be anything from steps to caloric burn to, water intake. All of those things can be tracked. And individuals that coming in here can put in their own information. If they want to share their name, they can. That's all because of HIPAA compliance, so that we don't have the breaking that HIPAA compliance of privacy. So you can put in a screen name, which this person did as just putting their first name in as Jacob. But you can see all of the other people besides myself don't have the ability for me to understand and know who that person is. So it is HIPAA compliant. Resources, we kind of touched on this at the very beginning, along with articles, videos, and everything else. We do have the ability to search for clinicians. So many of the presenters that have been part of this 2-day series event will be available here, where you can see them and select and view their profiles. So if I go into any of these profiles, I can see their expertise. I can see any testimonials if they've put any in of what success stories, which they do have at least one and a couple. And so here are some testimonials from some of her clients. These are very valuable, because what happens is if somebody has a testimonial and they come in here and they're trying to lose weight or they're trying to do something, they'll look at these testimonials and they'll say, well, if she could do it, I can do it. And so they're very good to add into your application. Along with that, I can add this person as part of my care team because I really trust their information and I like what I'm seeing, and I've gone to a visit with them that I can schedule in here as well. And then I can also bring in forms, and in those forms, I can create forms and asking for a birth date and email and phone number and all the things that I want to get. And if they're already a member, I can give them that same form, like an annual wellness visit form as an example. And our system will actually score all of those and then identify where there's things that you need to pay attention to, and how they are ranked, and based on the way that you put the questions in there. But in one click, it'll create a client file for that practitioner, for that individual, based on the way that they answered all of those questions. If I'm going to schedule an appointment, this person has the expertise in these 4 areas. So if I want to do a stress management course or class or appointment with them, they have one available for 60 minutes and it's $120. When I hit continue, it gives me the option to select. Obviously, we're in the last days of this month, but I can go into June and I can see all of the times that that person is available for me to do either a virtual, or if I live in that geographic area, I can do an in-person visit with this person individually. And then all of those come into your program. You can see in this white bar, I have the ability to message my clinician. So if I click on that, it'll then give me anyone that I've associated as part of my care team. So these are part of the doctors that this particular client is working with. And so I can do a message to them, or I can schedule an appointment with them. So based on the people that you've put into your care team, you can schedule the appointment. Takes you to this page where you can then click on scheduling that appointment with the client. And all that's done either on a phone or the desktop at whatever works for them. So I know, as you can see, we capture a tremendous amount of data. And in that data collection, all that comes into underneath their profile, their health data and history. So inside of here, I can come in here and I can see what my weight looks like. And so I can actually see in the last 7 days, I've been gaining some weight or losing some weight. But I can also look at the last 30 days. So I can see that over time, in the last 30 days, this is what my profile is looking like. And so all of that information can be put in here where I can see it over 60 days. And so it gives you the ability and them the ability to see how they're doing. And so over time, I started out in this particular scenario at 179 plus pounds, and I got down to as low as 168 pounds. And then I have increased that weight. And most of that is because I've been doing quite a bit of water intake today when I weighed myself, because I've got a very long bike ride that I'm trying to hydrate for and make sure that I'm fully hydrated before that bike ride later on today. So all of that information gets tracked, and there's a lot of information here. So if I go into my nutrition data as an example, and I'm going to switch over to a different community, which will also give you the opportunity to see how the branding can be completely different. So I'm going to go into here because I have a little bit more information in here. So if I come into my health profile here and I go into my blood panel as an example, you can get your blood lab done. In this case, it's a finger stick. Doesn't have a lot of measurements, but any measurements that you have tests done for will show up here. And again, using green, yellow, and red, we know if it's perfectly in range, it's green. If it's close to or slightly out of range, it's going to be yellow. And if it's red, pay attention to it. So all of this information is going to come in here based on this particular individual. And so I can track all of that. So if somebody is managing, in this case, resting heart rate, I already just said I'm a cyclist, so I have a very low resting heart rate, but you can see over time. But if somebody's resting heart rate gets elevated, so this morning it was 39 beats per minute, but 4 days ago it was 47. Well, that meant that I was overtraining for that particular time period, where you can see it's rising from 43 to 46 to 47. Most people will have a much more drastic change in that, but this goes down to anything that you're wanting to track. So you have nutrition, you have steps, you have everything that you would possibly want to have for this particular individual person on what you're tracking with this individual. I'm a little limited on time, so I'm going to go ahead and go into the management section. So this is going to be more for the clinician side of the equation. So if I'm logging in and I have management level information and my credentials, I can see more things in here. And there's 4 different categories: expert, admin, content, and marketing. And you can have a person that only has access to marketing or only has access as an expert. You control all of that based on the way that you set the permission structures for the individual and what you're giving them access to. One of the things that the companies really like is this communication piece. So everyone who logs into this page, this is what they see first. So if you wanted to send information, news about a new employee that's joining the team, about something bad that happens and how we should fix that or not do it again, consistency in delivering is everything if you have a staff. And so you can teach them through news, through video lessons, and through articles to keep them up to date. So if you read an article on managing diabetes and you want your people to see it, you can put it in here at a management level, because that article might be way above a consumer level in what it's talking about. So this is a place where you can put in information to educate your staff, because the only people who see this is your staff. The what's new is what we're working on as a company in building out this application, at what tools we might be building or what things that we might be doing. So that's the first screen that comes in. What I want to focus on for this last few minutes here is everything on this application is modifiable. So if I go into the content area, and then I go into the nutrition programming or the workout building or the content that I wanted to add some articles, all of these articles come into the application, and as a clinician, I can say, hey, I really like this article or I don't like this article. And just by that simple one click, that article's no longer available to my consumers. we also have different levels. So any article that a company puts in comes in at that top level, the scope of company. Anybody who comes in as a parent, that means that a top level community above them has put in that article. And if I scroll down to outside into the longer pages, it will bring in what we call global. And global is what our company or the different experts that we put in. And so to answering even further to Sam's question early on, this is the library that we're creating that's going to be available for all the people that are part of the Decent Med network and would be in your available operation as well. And I do want to emphasize that, we hope that everybody shares their information with the global, but you can have an article that is only unique to your community, and you just save it that way. So you can save it to the top level or make it available to the top level or not. The other part of this that I want to put the last few minutes, I've got another 9 minutes here before the top of the hour, is the client management area. So I'm underneath the expert drop down at the top, and then the client management feature is what is built in here. So all your clients can be in here. And so you can create any type of status that you want. You can put them in whatever color button and whatever color text button that you have. So you can create people as enrolled or lost patients or prospects or whatever category that you want to put them in. You can set those categories. Once they become an active client, you can then go into that client file. And this is where all of the data gets kept in a HIPAA compliant environment, where now I know everything about Donna Garcia in here, and the information is client centric. So if Donna Garcia is working with 2 different specialists, each time that a specialist puts in information or changes information or adds a different pharmaceutical product, all of those things are shared with the next clinician the next time they log in. So we have remote patient monitoring and chronic care management. We know that Donna Garcia has hypertension issues, and we know she has diabetes because those are the CPT codes or the ICD-10 codes that we're tracking that get put into the system and create a Excel spreadsheet capable file that can be then submitted for insurance or Medicare payments to be coming out for that particular client of everything that's happening inside of this practice. You can see I've clicked on chronic care management. Inside of here, I can then click on start video call. That launches a HIPAA compliant telemedicine call. I don't know if my camera is going to allow it to come in because of how I've not used this streaming studio. Okay, I guess it is. At least it's going to show it in a very slow capacity. But when Donna Garcia joins, she takes the top screen, and I come down to the bottom corner because I certainly don't need to see myself talk. But this right-hand side of the screen, your client does not see at all. So you can change and type information like your SOAP notes, where you can put in your subjective, objective assessment plan, diagnosis, patient instructions. You can upload information if they've given you information like a DNA report or an exercise. We are pulling data from electronic medical records as well. But you can see that I can come in here and I can add in a different issue, neck and spinal problems, and their diarrhea and their arthritis or their acne is no longer an issue. So I can change all of that on the fly, that they cannot see me changing it, but they might have just mentioned that they no longer have an acne problem. So all of that information is available. I can end this call anytime I do. It'll track the time, which triggers the things like CPT codes. Every 20 minutes triggers another code. That all gets track of inside of our system and then can be billed to Medicare after they're completed with the system. I mentioned forms before. These are forms that are built into our system. This particular form is an annual wellness visit. If I go in to see when she completed it, what date, what time she's completed it, I can see how she's answered all the questions inside of this form. And you can see they're also color coded. So the yeses or the greens means that they're good. The dark green means excellent. And so you can categorize up to 6 different levels. And if I wanted to know where the problem area was, I can click on high risk and it shows me where that problem area is very quick and very easily as a clinician, that this is something I need to pay attention to with this client. And the next time that I call them, I can talk to them about it. I can type in any kind of comments and information from that call here, based on whether it's an annual wellness visit or you're coaching them for weight loss. All that information can be put in here and then kept track with this particular client, Donna Garcia. And I got 4 minutes left. I don't see anyone that's typed in any questions in comments, but if you do have any, be happy to answer those questions. If you do have any questions that come up, and I know that they have a roundtable coming up in 4 minutes with the various clinicians that have been doing the different seminar speeches. So hopefully you've learned a lot in this last 2 days, and you can learn a little bit more in those roundtable discussions. And I don't know if Sam's still in the meeting here, that he might have any questions or comments that he wants to add. Sam, are you there?
Yeah, surprisingly, nobody is in the room. And I think, like I said to you before, I think the only way that our providers are going to care is when we show them that everything is going to be more active. So
Right.
we're going to have to twist their arm a little bit to get them to start taking this more seriously.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it is disappointing that you've been speaking for an hour. I messaged every single provider on our platform, and none of them are in the room.
Well, we want to make sure that we'll take this part out of the recording.
Yeah, definitely. You're completely right.
But yeah, I mean, everybody's busy. It is Friday evening. Probably a lot of people are already off to their next party or whatever it might be.
That is true. That is true.
So maybe we need to just schedule our end date on a Thursday or a Wednesday so that we get more people to stay and to participate. But there is a lot of great information that I was able to go through in a lot more detail than they've been able to see. And having that video available certainly will be valuable to them. And you can push that out to them and say, hey, you guys missed a great introduction and detailed view of the more active. And I would also suggest that we get somebody to edit these videos. And
that's what I was about to say. What I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this out of the summit completely and add this to the YouTube library so that they can all see it on YouTube alongside the other video series. And then what I'm going to do is all of them that aren't on the platform is I'm going to meet with every single one of them individually so that I can onboard them and maybe even watch this together. Maybe even you and I react to this video in a future time.
Yeah. The other thing is I've listened to a number of the different people talking. There's some great presentations. You got some good people that are part of this network. So, coming at it from that perspective, I think that it would be a good idea if we were to have somebody with video editing go in and cut them all into individual sessions and put them in as a whole session, but also put them in as individual sessions and maybe do some type of a entry screen for each of them that says that this person's expertise is sound, or this person's information is, dealing with bad events in life. I think it would be really positive to have them all as separate, that anybody can go in by topic and find a video that is related to that topic, because in our system how we break out everything to interests. And so if you had a presenter that was presenting on chronic disease of diabetes or sound or whatever it might be, or stroke, we can actually put that video inside of stroke, but make it only available to the managers, to people who have management access. So that one dashboard screen that we have, that would be a great place to put those in, all list them all, but also put them in by category.
I completely agree. Because you're right.
You have some good presentations. I probably watched about 6 of them. In between meetings, I tried to not schedule anything for yesterday and today so that I could watch them. But there were some really good meetings.
I completely agree. And
well, hey, it's a bummer that nobody stayed late, but it is Friday afternoon. Well, I guess we'll have to give them a little bit of slack on that, but it's still disappointing.
It is.
Hey, we got it recorded, and now it's something that we've got a literally an hour-long video that you can send out to people when they say, what is the More Active platform? You can send them this video.
Yeah, exactly. Especially for the new people.
Right. That's what I mean. The new prospects.
Yeah. Because we added 2 people this week, and I could see Debbie possibly using this. The other lady that we added, she was a little bit skeptical about the nutrition because she operates outside the fray of nutrition, so she really didn't want to associate herself with nutrition at all. So she didn't like that it said like nutrition and workout plans. So she wasn't a fan. But the other one.
Well, keep in mind though that she can hide every one of our plans and create her own.
Oh, she can.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, that's different.
Yeah. So when you're coming in here and I'm in the admin right now. I'm going to go to content. I'm going to go to nutrition. Here's the meal plans. If I say, well, I don't believe in ketogenic, I just hide it.
No, not that. Go to member view.
Yeah, well, what I want to show you here before we go to member view is I can go into GLP-1 weight loss, and I can push that to a client, or I can go in and view any of this information. Clicking the wrong icon.
I just want to show you what she saw, though. She didn't see all this.
Okay, well, that's why I'm showing you is that she can select if she doesn't like she wants to build a vegan plan. She can build a vegan plan in our system. She can add in any one or all 54 of our different ethnicities. She can determine how many calories go into each of the meals by percentage. So if somebody has 2,000 calories, they're going to get 23% of those 2,000 in breakfast. She can put in any kind of dietary tags. People like spicy foods or not. And then when you get to the meal plan side of it and you go into the nutrition, she would be thrilled if she would spend 15 minutes me showing her how much flexibility that she has to deliver this to her clients.
Well, so let me show you what she said, and then I want to touch on what another provider said about it. So the thing is, she didn't like seeing nutrition at all. She wants nutrition to be completely ghosted. She wants all that to be not even there, because she does energetics, which is the antithesis of nutrition. So she doesn't want to see nutrition at all.
Is that a supplement brand or?
No, that's the name of her business.
Okay.
And it's like intuitive eating. Like she focuses on the gut brain more than the nutrition side. And then I want to touch on another provider said, I have Go High Level. I don't really need the platform. Well, it's free, but what would you say to someone that already has Go High Level and thinks, well, I don't really need it. I don't really feel like I need what you guys are doing. What would you say to that?
Well, from what I am understanding from people is we have everything that they have and more. Mm-hmm. So, we have scheduling, we have content management, we have the ability to, access and trigger CPT codes and ICD-10 codes for billing. I think that if somebody actually takes a look, and what I would do is I would try and get a meeting with her. We can do it in a 15-minute meeting where we can actually show her, because the nutrition that